Hi. Welcome back to What You Were Doing Wrong, where we take a struggling Rocket League player and they go out and tell people who are technically, that's a capital T, worse. I think in this case it's only by MMR, and tells them all the things that they are doing wrong. We're going to take a look this time at the Scorpions and their Week 2 matchup. As you can see, Rocket League has broken my computer again, so this will be interesting. Nice clear there by Fox. Okay. Well, yeah, this keeps doing this shit. Yeah, this is a fucking nightmare. There's a case there for Height to take control of that, but not much really to look at there. That's just a miss. I guess. Oh, God. You done loading? Yeah, Fox is kind of left in an awkward position there. Although that's also like the cases don't over pursue or over back up. This is a straight kickoff goal, right? Jeez. Okay, yeah, so that's a missed half flip. Like, that's a, yeah, this is just straight up missed half flip, among other things. Just kind of like also, when you do actually hit this, since we're on the double diagonal, It's always best to, like, when you do this is to turn inwards. You just have a better chance, just like as Coach Atelier explains it, you just have better chance of getting to a lot of balls. And again, it's like mostly because it's like trying to be stopped or the ball comes out like this. So by turning in, you can kind of read the angle. Whereas if you turn upfield, you kind of rush. So this is just on the double diagonal. When you grab the boost, make sure you're turning inwards towards the net. You just have better play at all the theoretical balls. And obviously, if you see, like, on the face-off that the ball is going to end up here, well, then maybe you can turn upfield. Or if it, like, ends up here, you can turn upfield. But obviously, the big thing is, like, missing Rogue here, missing the boost. And then kind of commits to it. I mean, almost gets there, but, I mean, again, you see, like, all the importance of, doing it right on the first try. Also, the one thing I will say is, like, you'll hear me call it my broadcast is, like, you still have to, like, on the other side, you still have to kind of punish your opponent for making a mistake like that. Like putting a ball in an empty net. That looked like a attempted pinch. If it wasn't, again, not having access to comms. But, like, yeah, this is just kind of like where you want to prevent double committing. Like, your opponent's a little slow at turning, but, again. I saw Rogue. Just watch the deep rotations. You can kind of turn a little bit earlier there, especially if you see Ike going for the ball. So I called this out in the broadcast. Again, because I really didn't. So Fox kind of gets lucky. Like, Fox, FYI, you can turn. Like, if you don't see the mid, you should be looking to, like, do something like this. Or do something like this. Again, like, this is again in part like the deep rotations I was talking about. Like, your team has pressure. You can still do a lot with 36, 48. You just, part of the key is just, keeping pressure on, because eventually you will break the opponents down, especially, like, when there's a challenge and, like, let's say umpire here went down to grab the corner. Like, you have just so much time here. See, again, and part of it is like, as part of the rotation, like, if it's just playing corner ping pong here, like, yeah, then you end up having to, like, rush up, like, a lot. So, like, This is good. This is good to recognize you. You also have a hold of fill, but like again, I wouldn't make that such a deep rotation. I wouldn't worry about moving over, like this. Because like you see Ike the whole time, so you really want to stay on the correct side. In this case, the right side of the east-west line. Like, you know, like you could still be third. Because like part of this is that you end up making like a lot more. You end up covering more ground to make this shot, whereas, you know, had you stayed where you are, you would actually have you'd have a more direct shot on net. It's like, you know, if you were here, you could almost be striking the ball in the middle, and then you have like the left or right side. Whereas this, like, you're kind of, you know, you can try and go up here. But again, it's, you know, it's very minute, but this is like basically an options type of thing. So it's still very well placed. And it's like good coming up and recognizing, you know, that you're no longer the third because Rogue is rotating out, so you can push up a little bit. That kind of works out. Again, for Fox, that's a really slow rotation. If you kind of get stuck, I understand far post there. That, in that case, I would just be looking to get back as quick as possible. So just a real quick comment on Ike. I suggested Ike, if he's stuck on, he felt like he was struggling a little bit, so I recommended just changing the car. I said basically go either hybrid or breakout. Just kind of like go one step away from the Dominus. You can, you know, you can basically relearn a few things, but it's not like a total adjustment like some of the stupid things I do on my car. But yeah, just to kind of get a real feel, because we talked about it because they had a really early week 1 match, and just, you know, kind of just suggests is like, well, maybe you should just like change your car, and just see what happens. And then I just recommended, you know, move along the slider. So, like, go breakout or hybrid, rather than, like, radically changing it up. So, again, you can kind of see here Rogue's not getting this ball anyways. But, like, just over the east-west line. Again, like, I just, like, this is sort of a problem. So, um, when and this is also like a little weird here. So like Rogue has to kind of stay back here until the clear. Um, but like regardless, Rogue should really be thinking about getting into the two position. Again, not crossing the line here. Like, and it's kind of fine that if like Rogue as a two sits here and Fox even as a three is like somewhere like right here, and that's fine because like Ike's gonna go chase this ball and everything. Um, so again, you know, it again this isn't like totally terrible, but here's a problem. So Fox needs to just stay back because this is basically close to stacking. Um, because a lot of the time this ball gets around Ike, this ball's getting around Fox. So like Rogue in a sense is priced into staying like basically behind half line. Um, so yeah, like Fox just needs to kind of Fox has to I'd say here in this case, Fox has to recognize that Ike is challenging, which probably should see the entire time, and just needs to sit. Um, because if you again if you cross the half line, that this kind of freezes out who should be the two here. Um, so like this is good on again minor position issue on Rogue, but this is really good for Rogue to wait, even though he should be pushed up just a little bit more because the three pushed up too far. This prices the two, into staying put. So, like again, Rogue probably can't get this ball even if pushed up, but like if this was a more favorable ball, Rogue has a chance on that. So again, this goes back to all the mental stuff that you can't really practice in training. It's like again, and I'm guilty of it too. Don't look at the tennis ball all the time. Sometimes you need to look at where you're at. And sometimes you need to be paying attention to where you're at. Someone should have called that. Also, again, on the previous hit from Fox, I saw Fox kind of playing like the covering my teammate. He was still going to get to the ball first, so he could have easily sat a little bit longer. Because that actually kind of happened on the first goal, is that he kind of is like, oh, I'm covering Rogue's hit. And like, we even saw in the replay, all the clients thought that Rogue hit the ball and he actually didn't in game. And like, Fox was just off the line a little bit because he was kind of trailing as third and got a suboptimal hit. So I feel like Fox just needed to hit that ball right there a little harder. Good challenge. Yeah. Just wait. So I guess today Fox is going to be the one who draws my ire, unquote. All right. Yeah, okay, so we know that's not there. So what happens? Yeah, just when exiting, try and look for the pad lines. Because this, like, in a vacuum, this isn't, like, a really bad thing, but I think, like, there's a... Because sometimes, like, Champ, Diamond 3, people don't necessarily strike the ball correctly or get the right touch on it. Like, this is super dangerous. And, like, there's also, like, a very good possibility that Ike and Fox can collide here. So, Rogue, it's funny, and Rogue may not even know this because Rogue's going up and, you know, kind of focusing on the shot here. So, like, it's kind of in a way like Rogue is priced, unquote, into needing to touch the ball really, really well because, like, there could be disaster that he doesn't even know about in the corner. Yeah, and then, like, again, this works out, but it's kind of like you need to be really, really careful. And really, really what happens is that Fox gets a fortunate touch because Baller came out too far. Yeah. I also said that Rogue should not have turned on this. And yeah. Rogue should not turn on this. Like, that's solo Q3's turn. Which you shouldn't be doing anyways in solo queuing. Like, yeah, like, Rogue should not be turning on that. Like, again, the best way to prevent, you know, being punished for a double commit is to put the ball in the back of the net, but, like, so for Rogue, why should Rogue have not turned on that? Well, let's say hypothetically that Baller got a hit on it. Rogue then has to do another turn to go back downfield with low boost. You know, it's like, again, it's a difference on the hit, like being like here and the ball here and like being here. And like, anyway, Ike is probably going to turn on any ball that ends up here. Like, it's possible Cookie makes a bad touch, which you should be fine with. But yeah, there's not really much reason for Rogue to be turning on this. Like, it's like, call it the gravity rule, but it's just like Fox is still kind of in control. Just let Fox do whatever. Again, it works out, but you know, we got best case scenario here. And by the way, in best case scenario, if it was always best case all the time, no one would suck at this game. And no one would make any mistakes. So, really good shot there by Rogue. Yeah, we kind of have to rewind 15 seconds now. So again, just kind of to highlight, while you have pressure, this is, you know, the blue side, RTX Octane had pressure. This is why you shouldn't necessarily go back. you know, Cookie probably should come up and challenge, and Baller should like turn and take the pads. So that's kind of like a buy time touch. I need to see what the hell Mike's doing. Okay, so the teaching moment. So I'm going to Empire. Because this looked like very weird defensive positioning. Oh, I hate this so fucking much. Okay. So I think Baller was the actual tier 4 player. So again, I have no idea if RTX Octane is gonna watch this. So Empire's probably in a rough spot. Again, when rotating back, there are some line of pads to take. And really what you should strive for is this. Come in through here, because you can always like tuck in. Sometimes you do have to make the handbrake turn in the net, but like generally this is just better. And then you can kind of park here on the line. And I think this is, you know, again, just like not necessarily lacking in knowledge, but, you know, partially that, lacking experience, just not seeing this scenario. But I mean, in general, you have a better shot here than when you're lining here. And this is always a good practice because, you know, when you're here, you can pretty much get to anything. When you're here and you're kind of like this, when that ball comes out of the corner, you kind of end up leaving like a lot of the net open as a result. As always, it is a lot easier to get the ball away when coming into the ball, which is why I always advocate for far post when traveling with the ball. So, like, that's part of it. So we can, again, part of it is that Empire comes in here short side and just should come in here. Again, like, I forget who's tier 5 and who's tier 6. Again, so this is like, they may not necessarily be used to this. Like, it's not a bad, but like, you can see, like, there's the power slide. And what Cookie should be doing is not trying to cut this ball off. Cookie should be going here. So it's like, Cookie should always be trailing the second person, not necessarily staring at the ball. Because Baller still has a chance on this, and Cookie should be covering here. You know, and again, based on the corner, like, Empire should probably be like right here, really. I mean, you know, somewhere in this region because of the corner hit. See, and again, like you can see here, there's like, again, to help illustrate this, Empire probably has like this part, I don't know, some sort of cone shape. Like, so there's like 50% of the net that's open that they can cover. This far side here is completely open. Empire cannot cover this. And the reason being is just how they're positioned. Like, this is fine if the ball's coming straight in across the wall, but any angled shot, like, you have to give yourself, you have to, again, it's part of the experience, you know, getting experience at the game, is you have to cover this. Again, you know, Scorpions, this is also something to take heart. This is why, you know, harp on positioning a lot. It's just that there's not. And like, Empire's also frozen here because Cookie's cutting. And Cookie should have tucked in right here. So like now Cookie's going to read this, and Empire's way out of position. And Rogue puts it far side. So, like, you know, it's great, you know, it's great sequence for Scorpions, but on the defensive side, it's like, that's also a goal late goals are something that you need to be very, very conscious of. And like when the team gets put out of position like that, like that is the Scorpions being good enough to capitalize on the mistake. So good placement by Rogue there, putting it far side where the keeper cannot reach it. I got that. Fox also right there. I would have let that ball go. If you can't bang the ball, just let it go. Again, the Scorpions kind of get away with that one. So, but again, it's just, try and make the smart play the best play. So I will say, obviously, Scorpions looked like the better team. So, Rogue probably didn't need to boost there. Just attack the ball. Yeah. So also to help with this, yeah. So again, positioning. I won't point out. Rogue should not. Here, we'll just go back to this. So part of this is comms, but like. This is okay. So if the ball gets sent away based on rotation, like you kind of have like a 1, 2, 3 here. It is probably easiest for this 2 here. Again, depending on what happens here. So this is why comms is important. It's better for the 2 to just follow here and support as the 3. And then the 3 here should make a cut and be the 2. Again, this all depends on comms. If Fox, Rogue should probably, in part, wait. If there's no comms, Rogue should wait to see what Fox goes. If Fox stays on the one side, you make the hard cut. But if Rogue cuts, or not Rogue, if Fox turns and goes upfield, then Rogue should tuck in and be the 3. So, like, Rogue should just be splitting and trying to get up. And should communicate here that I'm going to, going upfield. But see, again, like, not necessarily paying attention. Like, this is a stack. Like, this is a very dangerous stack. Like, what happens if Fox misses that ball? Rogue has to turn. So, like, I think there needs to be some sort of communication here. And then, you need to commit to it. So, like, if Rogue is going to stay behind Fox, that's fine. But Rogue needs to do it here. Like, this is really dangerous. See? So, like, basically as a result, like, Rogue really ends up correcting. So again, this is all about the positioning, but it's just like, yeah. So, like, again, and it depends, like, when you have like whatever the 1 and 2 here, like, in a way you need to like try and give some space, so you end up. So I don't know what the best spot is, but you kind of like want a middle between there, and something like the outside of the box, just so that you can cover like a lot of scenarios. But it also, in case something goes wrong, you can start turning back and intercept anything if something comes at the back. So like, again, like I talk about not crossing the line here, but like, you know, this is like advanced positioning 101 is sometimes you just like need to be here or you need to be here. And you're like facing everyone so you can break on something or you can turn. So like again, this isn't totally the worst because Rogue's gonna get this ball, and I'm not meaning this as evil or malicious. He's going to do something with it. He's going to at least take control of it. So, like, we don't have a disaster scenario here. So yeah, nice, good slow play. So now I'm gonna walk through. The art of defending aerials. So, for Baller, the suggestion here is you don't need to take this through into the corner. Like, you're one, so you're going to be the first to challenge. Again, you may not necessarily see this all the time, but you're a lot better off just parking here and seeing what Rogue does. And actually, like, when Rogue kind of does, like, the side, like, you can then, like, just basically go up and challenge from the post here because both your teammates are behind anyways. So like, and then you have a direct challenge. But see, like, unfortunately, Pollard is like playing like a wraparound, and that doesn't like take into account like even just a simple go up and just flip off and flip into the ball to center it. So this kind of plays like a suboptimal play, which is taking it around through the corner, rather than a passing play, which is like passing it out to Ike, which gives a better shot on net. So okay. So again, like kind of. So I'm gonna say good on Cookie. Really, again, like Empire's. Unfortunately, Empire's like too far back. Like Empire in a way needs to. Empire probably. If Empire was positioned right, this would be Empire's challenge. But Empire's back and then waiting for the Baller challenge. Baller goes kind of late. Now Empire's just kind of like watching it here. And again, Empire may not see this, but for the future, you probably want to go up for this ball. Like, this is a fairly confident, to me, again, and I have no access to opponent's cons, like it's missing, but like this is setting up for a double, and like Empire just cannot get to it. Yeah, and they completely, which again shows me that they don't totally see double touches all the time, because they're just this is like a free play training, hit it off the back wall. So the two things to take away is one, you need to be up earlier than you think you'd be. Two, you also need to be up in a way to where you think the opponent is going to get the ball. So, and then like. So Cookie tries to block. Yeah. Comes in far post. Again, like Cookie and Empire probably don't see that a lot, so like it's tough for them to defend it. I think that is good positioning by Cookie. Like you come into a place where your teammates should be basically the second person and should be ready to challenge. And that throws things off. And that's what happens on double commits. I would probably say, kind of in a way, if if Cookie had gone, that would be okay because Empire was just not in the right position. Yeah, again, see, like I think like level of experience and current skill level playing, and like Cookie was just like reading that, and wasn't in the best position. Like sometimes obviously people at higher levels will start doing that, but like Cookie just went up, so there was like no forward momentum, like no direction to the ball. It's like it's the free play training hit where there's only one person on the field, you. So that's a nice try by Fox there. I like trying to take possession. I miss it. So what happens? I need to see from cams. Because this looks super awkward. Okay, so like turn in far post. Yeah, okay, that's fine, whatever. Go grab the boost. It's not bad. I think closing the distance there is correct. Rogue's awkward, but like I don't know. You kind of need to do something, and it's not the worst challenge. Like okay, so this is a good clear. Rogue follows. So here, watch rotating through your teammate. Just on the off chance, like, Fox recovers. Fox recovers in a way, I don't know whether good or awkwardly, but can get straight at that ball. So, yeah. So Fox, I'm not gonna say Fox. Fox moves to the 3, telling Ike to challenge, but I don't like this rotation. Yeah. I don't like the rotation at all. Like I would probably say Ike challenge and then just be down on the ground. Yeah. Like cuz the range, like, it doesn't give you much time for course correction. So it's almost like, in a way, it's a guessing game. And I just prefer to like guess more at the net. Um and have the chance to save rather than be on the wall here, kind of as a third, and try and guess a ball that's going to bounce off the wall and come back out in front. Because like if I miss the ball on the back wall, I'm probably not saving the ball. So that's more of my preference. And this comes down to also just like trusting everything. So I would have, if I was Rogue, I'd just stay on the far post or on the near post, tell like to challenge, and then go from there. So I saw in that sequence like Rogue kind of creeping up in the middle, which was fine. Um, kind of like after the missed defensive touch, you knew the third was back, so that's just a good quick counterattack play. Anyways, on the Rogue retreating up, um, you saw kind of defense was going to miss, so you can kind of play a middle situation. They've been up slightly too far, but then again, that's okay. Like, it was very minor. I'd just probably say he's just like, it's fine that Fox is back, but, you know, again, thinking about what may happen, it's probably hard to read that. It's better to stay back. Oh, this was a cannon. They just gifted this to Fox, and Fox placed it well. Just on that sequence where kind of like the drop pass from Rogue, and I kind of looked to pass out. You want to stay back if there's someone challenging, but it's like once your team is going to kind of take possession in a way, you can kind of start advancing, especially if there's like no blue players in the vicinity that can challenge. Like you can kind of switch immediately from defense to attack. It just would give Fox like a better chance on the initial pass for Mike. But this was a banger of a shot. That's well placed. I just want to call it out since I yelled at Rogue. I should not have tried to kind of cut that off. Just very awkward. I would try and take possession there, Ike. Like, don't hit it into the side. Like, it's just probably recognizing there that you're going to hit it straight out. Unless you're banging it into the middle where your teammates are, but it's kind of like you're also the first. And Fox should not challenge that. That results in the dangerous pinch that I've discussed a couple of times. So that's fine there. The situation kind of necessitated. Again, it's in part. So this is. We'll kind of watch it for Mike. So they cleared over there. So Ike turns, axes a second. Probably shouldn't have crossed even to grab that mill. Yeah, and just sits there and reads. So when I mentioned triangle, that's like really what the second should be doing. Like obviously they're positioned sometimes behind the first, but suddenly sometimes, you know, they become the one. And when opponents bring it across the front of the net, well, suddenly that two is in prime position to attack. You know, so like that's a good heads up read right there. And again, just punishing the opponent's mistake. That was smart by Cookie. I've seen a lot of low-ranked people just try and hit that into their own back wall. So Rogue just kind of puts it away, and again, kind of like inexperience with backboard. Kind of does the blue side did. I will say Fox should have scored that. So that's in part making sure that you hit the ball correctly. I don't know if I would have scored that, but that is definitely a shot that should have been scored. Which right now kind of speaks as like a dumpster fire that my shooting mechanics are. They weren't that great, but okay. Don't come in there and power slide and turn as the one. Like you're not. I don't care if the score's 5-1. Just don't do that. Like you could take the boost, but just get out of there. Like you're not gonna accomplish anything. Looks directly at Ike. Ike looks like bad flip. Yeah, so I think Baller is also the tier 4, and you can kind of see there's a slight... Well, I mean, they shouldn't be panicking at this point, they're down 4, but there is kind of like a slight issue in teammates. And again, like, this sounds cruel, but sometimes you just have to let your teammates fail and let them learn from what they did. Okay, so if I remember from this, I'll have to look at replay bar. I think RTX actually looked very, very good in this. So there were probably a lot of screw-ups from Scorpions as well. There should not be 2 up there. Ike, what are you doing with you? Okay, so if Rogue called following, because Ike is up way too early, like, this is... Yeah. So on a side-to-side scale, who traveled the furthest? Like... This is what I talk about crossing the east-west line. Like, I can understand, which is also like, you need to have a really good reason to do this. And I would suspect it would be to corner the ball, to center it. But someone needs to call that and call it in early. And generally, unless you see that ball coming across, and that ball didn't, like, again, I've kind of looked at this through the replay already, but... Yeah, that ball did not come your way. I would not really go up for that. And I would really think about getting down. It's like, again, okay, so the problem is it's like when you see your teammate also up with you, it's like, what are you going to do now? So like, you have to, in a way, it's like you almost have to bail. Like, I cast a bail on this. Because Rogue just has the better options. The options are shoot or kill it or do something. So again, like we see that they're going to score somehow, but like this is like there's no offense being generated here. Fox just comes in. That's a bad touch. That's another bad touch. And Rogue punishes it. By the way, it is perfectly fine to take a demo when the opponent's one comes charging at you and there's out of the corner and there is no follow-up. Even if you are the 3. Because like what's the opponent going to do with that ball? Nice. Rogue should have scored that. Like, not gonna lie. Again, I know I say, don't trust me, give people shooting tips, but there was a perfect bump play there and everything. So that's rough. That's the third challenging when they should not have. So I think at this point I feel like there's a little disrespect coming. Both Empire switched from Octane to Fennec, and Emballer went from Dominus to Fennec. Yeah. There's another one there that I thought Rogue should put on net. I don't mind the decision Fox made there if the decision was try and attack the ball, but I don't think I'm going to get it, or just play for the clear, then that's fine. Like, it did totally work out, but like when you make those decisions, you have to accept that. That looks like a call off. Circle back. Circle back. Doesn't matter if Fox wins is going to win the challenge or not. The reason why you circle back here is, look, snapshot. There's like 5 people over there, and there's 1 person over here, and the 1 person is pointed upfield. Like, again, I sort of get the trust, but there is no way I'd be turning upfield for that. This is just probably going to show a miss, but there's also 2 people coming at this ball. Fox backs off, turns. Yep, waits. Had no boost. Okay. That is not what I did. But this is what happens when Rocket League just starts being a resource hog again. Okay, yep. Yep. Actually, good patience. A little off the line, but that's fine. Got called off by Ike. Okay, go challenge. Like, that's fine. Yeah, it was kind of like the no boost challenge miss. Okay. Well, now I know the direction to go in. So off the face off. Just gotta get used to that. Yeah. So this is a couple of bad reads. If it was me, I probably would have been up to challenge. Just would have plenty of time. This feels like a called pass. It's dangerous. I need to probably see what the team does. Okay, cheats. Yeah. This is hard to call. And I don't think Ike's gonna show me anything different. Circle back, come in far post. Yeah, I probably should not. I should not have boosted off the line there. So that's a partial mistake there. Again, Ike has to recognize that he's going to be the third in this situation. Whatever, like you, as the third in this situation, your responsibility is to cover the net. It there's a lot of like cascading mistakes here. It starts with a misread. I'm not actually sure what to suggest here. I mean, Ike should be on the line acting as a third. I know that much. It really comes down to what can I think would be for Fox. So I sort of know I rail against like going to help your teammate. I think it depends on what's in comms. So if Fox says misses, misreads, whatever, that should be a cue for Fox to go assist. It may not mean attack the ball, but should go assist. If Fox is assisting because Rogue is bringing that ball essentially across the front of the net, Fox's goal is just to clear it out. Look to the outside. So try and force some sort of outside clear. Maybe a pinch with Rogue. That might be the best thing. If there's no comms, it gets a little tougher because it's kind of like wait and see what happens. And it leads everybody kind of in a very awkward situation. But, like, in that case, Ike still needs to be protecting the backside. And Rogue's kind of, or not Rogue, Fox is on the near side. It's kind of a shitty situation, but like I don't know how to necessarily fix that off the top of my head. And it ultimately just might be as Rogue should just leave the ball and let the opponents bank it in through the corner. Because that's actually like a favorable outcome. Because then Fox can like touch the ball back down the corner, or maybe push it off to the side where it gets around like they're 1 and 2. So yeah. So we kind of see, you know, what amounts to a mistake and a half uh, results in 2 goals. So good on RTX Octane to capitalize on that. Okay, Fox is going to turn. Probably advice to Rogue on that. Try and put down the backboard. Both teams are having a lot of trouble reading it. So rather than taking a shot, just try and put it on the backboard. And try and get it, you know, try and get. Hopefully, a teammate can come up and follow you. That's a case of it doesn't matter what your team is doing. So I understand the shot, but just kind of try and think about that for the future. Again, I will say for whatever it's worth, like Scorpions are the better team. So you know. Probably this late. Also, if you're, yeah, that's gonna be tough for Rogue to get to there. Just say if you're playing behind the 1, you might want to be more shaded out towards the middle, just because you need the goal. So that always gives you. In that case, you're playing for balls that come out towards the middle rather than up through the side. Good try. Okay, nice. By the way, from Cookie, I really hated that facing your own net. Even in the attacking zone, read on the sidewall. It's again just more of a preference of I don't see a lot of many people start pulling that off with a reasonable success rate until at least probably high champ 2. Okay, that's fine. Like Rogue was coming in a little bit awkwardly, so could like necessarily put that away. That's a call off. Man, I will say some of these rotations are a little sloppy, but let's give the benefit of the doubt. Okay. God dang it. Okay, got called off. Okay. Again, Rogue takes forever to reset up. Um, okay, yeah. There's enough. So like I just say is like, you kind of know where Ike is, so you kind of. So for Rogue needs to be tucking in. Like this is a huge wide turn again. Like good placement and everything. But again, like in a way, it's like you would have had more options where you lined up right. So again, just it's all that keep in mind because again, like if that ball, if something happened, you know, like the opponent could start a counterattack on the left side and come up through there, and like Ike was making weird ass rotations again, and like Rogue was kind of circling to try and get in the correct spot, but it's like it was a very awkward turn, like and again like good shot, but like I also want to point out that just because all this is working out doesn't mean you should continue to do it. So again, I want to highlight that part. Because these are the type of things that will later come back and bite you in the ass. And when I say like in tournaments, our third is going to kill us, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. It has nothing to do with their hits. It's all about their rotations and positioning. So that's fine. So okay. So baller gets out. Okay. So teaching moment. No. Baller should never even thought about going up for that. You have 3 minutes left, like you should. So half flip. Now chases into the corner. So this actually starts with 2 people in a corner, the diamond double stack. Like, that just... You have to have enough awareness to say, like, what's going to happen. So, like, from a rotational standpoint, this leaves baller in a really, really bad position. Because, like, any third he can't go for. So baller should immediately be thinking about getting behind the half line. Baller then kind of creeps up and says, I'm going to go for this. And then gets into the jump and realizes, oh, wait, I shouldn't be going for this. So, yeah. So then boost back to get 100. So they are at 34, and now they end with 41 with the ball in the back of the net. So as a third, this is actually a solo queue moment. It's like you hope something odd happens, but you should kind of be turning backwards already, back towards your net. And you need to forget about that big glowing orb because you would have 100. Now, granted, in this case, I would have whatever was in my tank, and I'd be turning back. I mean, I'm just Here. Like, I'd be probably here saying, like, God, what a bunch of fucking idiots my teammates are if this was solo queue. And I'd turn around and I'd be going back this way. Get the boost. And I'd be here and I can read this ball out of the corner. Or I can get up for it. But regardless, like, again, someone stuck around, you know, Diamond 3 Champ 1, who theoretically is supposed to play like a high Champ 2. That's what I would do. Because really, like, I'd be challenging and I'd be putting, like, the ball here and just buying time for my team to get back. Yes, I would lose. I would lose the precious Hundy. And I know in the game of Rocket League, this matters more than the scoreboard. But it would still be 1-0. And again, like, I don't mean to harp on this a lot, but it's like, this is the stuff that can easily improve your rank. You know, again, in solo queue, you may have teammates who don't understand it's fine, but you can walk away and say, like, I did everything correctly. And when playing with a team, that just increases your team's chances of winning so much. Just doing these things, you know, in the correct manner. See, and again, like, that's a case of mistakes leading to mistakes. Like, there shouldn't have been a double commit in the offensive corner. And also, like, with, again, this is just based on seeing this video. If Baller's not completely 100% trusting their teammates, they should not be going up for that ball in the corner anyways. Because there's no one back to defend. And that's a blue cut right there. Yeah, so in a way, RTX Octane kind of starts falling apart. I mean, they kind of got to pressure everything, but like you can kind of see, you know, just stacking up and doing all that, double committing. Like, again, I mentioned this during the broadcast, there is a cross-platform, you know, communication issue. So, but, I mean, that hasn't stopped other IGL teams. So, I mean, it's just, again, working through all that. So, like, if I'm the Scorpions, I'd just be like, just kind of got to play really smart. Don't make any mistakes. Like, we could play slightly conservative. You know, that... I would have followed up on a demo there. I feel like in the replay, I would have done that. I don't know if I've done that actual gameplay. So, yeah, like, Scorpion should not... There should not be two up. Whoever cross, don't cross. It doesn't matter whether you're two or not. Like... Here, you should be totally trying to limit that. Ike should not be going for that ball. If you were down to, yes. If I'm Rogue, I'm not even mad that I lost the ball initially there, because, like, well... And Rogue lined himself up nicely for a challenge. Come on, Fox, let's gotta go in. You don't want to be on clangers, do you? It's time winding down. So, yeah. I'd say for the most part, expected fair result. You know, going back and looking at everything, like seeing everything through the broadcast the first time and like saying like, yeah, that's probably fair. Again, it's just comms and rotations I feel for the team. it's hard to suggest a direct learning plan. Um, so, um, but again, taking it for what it's worth, like the rotations, you know, the rotations were a lot better. Again, we picked out a few things, but like when you look at it as a whole, there was, it was good for the most part. Again, I think just comms. Just being clear on comms goes a long way to clearing up like a lot of stacking issues. Um, yeah, so I would think I'll probably make my recommendations in chat. Since Tate had an off week, I would probably say whatever I told him to do last week, which I think was sort of like choose your own adventure. Kind of do that. Um, I think again, like for Fox, it's watch the deep rotations. Um, I guess for mechanical, I think this is actually going to be recommended for uh, the three people. I think this might actually be a team activity. Um, it's kind of a slight reset on hitting, but I see like just a lot of like bad touches, which kind of reminds me of where I'm at. So like one of the things that got assigned to me was just put your nose on the ball. And I kind of like made that recommendation last week to Rogue and Ike. Is more just like rather than trying to like get cute and flip into the ball, just drive through it. So I'll probably add that. Just kind of to get a reset on everything. Because it's just like a lot of like soft touches. And again, there's like a lot of them seeing out there with some of my shots. Um, the inconsistent ones that I don't hit well, like it's kind of like all these soft touches that the Scorpions were getting. So that's probably the recommendation. So again, I think for like if you still feel comfortable, continue working on the breakout. Just going through the relearning, just making sure, and then just continue to drive through. Like get your nose on the ball. Don't worry about any like fancy like touches at the moment. Obviously, game there's a little discretion, but there were some soft touches. Um, Rogue, yeah, work on threes still. Also, work on getting your nose on the ball a couple times. Because there were some touches that remind me of myself where you don't gain power behind it. And then Fox, yeah, watch deep rotations and then work on driving into the ball right now. And then and like as you kind of get refamiliar, then you can start adding the air rolls again. So yeah, but now go ahead and do it. Scorpions, guy questions, feel free to DM me. But thank you all for watching.